Hi, my name is Andrew Bridgeman. I am an author in New Hampshire, and BookLife has asked me to talk about the financial aspects of being an indie author. Likely, you don't know who I am, and that's one of those things that happens as an indie author that's kind of getting off the ground. Just to give you a little background, I got an agent and had gotten traditionally published in Europe. And so I had written a couple books, and so these are the ones that were published in Germany, and then one in Hungary, but we couldn't find a U.S. publisher. And so I had to make this decision of whether or not to go out on my own. And one thing that I'm going to kind of caveat all of this with is that I'm happy to offer what I see in this, but I have talked to so many authors, some famous, some just starting out, and every single person's situation is different. And their goals are different. How they look at being an author is different. Being an author is not the quick ticket to wild riches. But let me go through kind of some of my numbers with you, and we'll kind of start there. So Fortunate Son was the first book that got released in 2024 in the U.S. And we've sold about 20,000 copies of the book. So it's done well for an indie author, probably a bad Tuesday for Grisham, but it was the first book in a series. Now, I gave away some books. I discounted the books heavily. Right now, you can find the ebook at $4.99 and normal prices for everything else. But when I do the numbers on Fortunate Son, I have averaged $1.61 per book, which is not awesome, but it's okay. I didn't expect to make a ton of money on the first book. I wanted to get it out there. Continuing, my ebook average is 73 cents. The paperback is $3.42. Audiobook is $4.80, and I made about $1.77 per book on Kindle Unlimited. But I was happy with the readership. I was happy. I got a lot of reviews. I think between two books now, I think we're over 3,500 views on Amazon and Goodreads, and we're just starting to kind of get noticed. A Noble Sin was the second book that came out. That came out fall of 2025, and because I guess people were interested in the second book, those numbers are better. So on average, Noble Sin, I've made $3.96. So just shy of $4 per book. Ebook, which sells for, I think, $7.99 on Amazon and everywhere else that average is $4.97. Paperback, $3.66. Audiobook, just about $5, and Kindle Unlimited was $2.40. So if you aggregate my total book sales as being an indie author, it's just a little over, I don't know, $2.20 per book. So not runaway riches by any means. I think my biggest mistake, I paid Meta an awful lot of money to have people follow me on Facebook. I had some good ads and 6,500 people followed me. And I thought, great, here's my base to sell books. And so I would post something and it would be shown to about 150 people. And I realized very quickly that having 6,500 followers did not mean you had 6,500 sets of eyeballs on your stuff at any one time. In fact, it was pretty much a waste of money. And that I was, if one algorithm changed and I would lose those people. I was renting strangers to follow my journey that were not really all that excited about my journey. So that was probably my biggest mistake. So I learned from that. But I think an understanding that my best opportunity was to find readers and let them talk amongst themselves and to grow grassroots. There is something very different from trying to sell it by an ad on Facebook to a stranger than having a reader talk to a friend or a family member or their library or their bookstore and say, I have found somebody that I really love and I need to share this author with you. The place that I've gotten the most bang for my buck is having a newsletter. And this is one of those places where you don't have to spend a lot of money. I think it's really important, the mindset that you have about why you're doing it. If I had started this a long time ago, it would be to just continue to advertise my book. And what I found that seems to work well is just to be completely authentic. I think that's good advice for anything that you're doing as an author, is to just be who you are, and you will find your people. That I talk about the great parts about being an author, about being an indie author, and finding your books at the front counter of must-read thrillers at Barnes & Noble. That was a cool day. Or some of the trips that we've been on. I talk about the creative challenges of dealing with stuff, and I talk about personal things. My wife is dealing with a very difficult diagnosis, and I shared that with readers. I have got 27,000 people on this list, and they are family. And when I asked for some help with something, like who wants to read and review the third book coming out, I get an awful lot of hands that go up. Well, is there a good place for me to go to talk to a bookstore? Anybody want to lend a hand and do a cover reveal on social media? I started this after my second book came out, so I can't show you this is how much money I've made because I have a newsletter. But I can tell you from a personal standpoint, from a feeling like I have friends now all over the world, it was by far the best thing I've ever done. And I don't think about selling books at all. I just think about connecting with people. I truly believe that having 100 people that are committed, that want to know more about you and are willing to help, is worth many, many thousands of Facebook or Instagram followers. It's not easy to be a writer, but all of a sudden being forced to being in business. And for a lot of people, that's a super big clash of personality type. And so I guess I would look at it this way. Most people don't look at who published this book. And there are so many imprints to big publishers that I don't think that matters. I think that readers want to look at a book and say, oh, okay, this looks like a real book. And what does that mean? That means having a great cover. It means not having spelling mistakes. It means having a good copy edit. So I would say that if you are going to spend your money, make sure that your book is as close to a traditionally published book on the inside and outside as you possibly can. The next thing that I would look at is reviews. How can you get people to start with reviewing your stuff? When we all look at a bookstore or on Amazon or whatever, and you see a book that's got a good title, but it's got 3 reviews, suddenly there's maybe that's not something I want to invest my time in. I would say that your goal is to try to get 50 reviews, and that's leveraging your friends, your family, your coworkers, whoever it is, like trying to get 50 reviews on Amazon, on Goodreads, thing that shows that this is a real book and it's got real readers and that it might be worth somebody's time. And then when that's been done, I would say the next thing is go to a bookstore locally and explain that you're a local author. And I did that with my local bookstore, and they were amazing. I was so surprised. We did an event at the store. They got me on the radio. It got me in the paper. You'd be surprised at how many people are rooting for your success. And if you let them, that there's some good stuff that'll happen. And then I would start a newsletter, and I would start it with as many people as you possibly can. If you have got a couple marketing dollars and you can try to target the kind of people that you're looking for on Facebook or on Instagram, or you post and invite people on there. You don't have to spend a lot of money, but I think having that newsletter and letting people identify with you a little bit more, I think that's not a waste of time either. Yes, you can spend money with publicists, and yes, you can spend money on Facebook ads, and yes, you can experiment with Amazon ads. And there are so many things that you can say yes to. But remember, your book is, as an indie author, is going to be out there forever. And it doesn't all have to happen right away. It can happen gradually, and it can happen by word of mouth. And I can tell you that as someone that chased sales, that now is just kind of watching word of mouth happen. Word of mouth is so much more gratifying, and it's so much cheaper, and it's so much more fulfilling. So I wish you all the success on your author journey. I hope some of this was helpful, maybe a nugget here or there, but good luck. Keep writing. Hang in there. We're all in the same boat. Bye-bye.